Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest world news from trusted sources.
New York Times World News. July 31, 1742 Europe London. Police in China detain Canadian pop star Kris Wu on suspicion of rape. Kris Wu, a 30-year-old celebrity, is the most prominent figure in China to be held over #Me Too allegations. Kris Wu performing at a music awards show in Toronto in 2018.
CNN.com World. July 31, 1738 Europe London. Carrie and Boris Johnson are expecting a second baby after miscarriage heartbreak. Carrie Johnson, the wife of UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, has announced the couple are expecting their second child in December.
ABC News International. July 31, 1726 Europe London. Albania repatriates 5 women, 14 children from Syria. Albania's prime minister says the country is repatriating from the Al-Hol camp in Syria 5 Albanian women and 14 children related to Albanians who joined Islamist extremist groups fighting in Syria and Iraq.
Washington Post World. July 31, 1712 Europe London. As athletes open up on mental health, Japan's Olympians tell harrowing tales. Already under pressure to win, many faced online abuse from people who didn't want the games to happen.
The Independent. July 31, 1711 Europe London. Trump lashes out at reports he pressured DOJ to call election corrupt. The corrupt and highly partisan House Democrats who run the House Oversight Committee yesterday released documents, including court filings dealing with the rigged election of 2020, that they dishonestly described as attempting to overturn the election, the former president says.
New York Times World News. July 31, 1645 Europe London. Biden promised to restore the Iran nuclear deal. Now it risks derailment. Both sides have much to lose if a delicate negotiation over limiting Iran's activities in return for a lifting of sanctions falls short. The Biden administration's approach to a nuclear deal has become complicated with the election of a new conservative leader in Iran.
Time. July 31, 1643 Europe London. Ban on soul cap spotlights lack of diversity in swimming. Tokyo. Alice Deering has an afro, a voluminous puff nearly impossible to protect in most swimming caps. Her hair shrinks if it gets wet. And the chlorine? The chemicals in a pool can cause severe damage that requires substantial time and money to treat.
Washington Post World. July 31, 1641 Europe London. Chinese pop star detained on suspicion of rape. Beijing police say Chinese-Canadian pop star Kris Wu has been detained on suspicion of rape. Washington Post World. July 31, 1639 Europe London. Britain urges vaccinations during pregnancy amid Delta variant worries. The UK obstetric surveillance system found that the proportion of pregnant people hospitalised with moderate to severe illnesses has increased with the highly contagious Delta variant.
Time. July 31, 1625 Europe London. Elaine Thompson-Herah breaks 100m Olympic record, further cementing Jamaica's sprint legend. Elaine Thompson-Herah knew she had it won, the 100m race on Saturday night at the Olympic Stadium in Tokyo, Japan. So the defending 100m Olympic champion pointed at the scoreboard before the finish, just like fellow Jamaican, Usain Bolt, did at the 2008 Beijing Games.
ABC News International. July 31, 1623 Europe London. UK Prime Minister's wife says she's pregnant again. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's wife, Carrie, has announced she is expecting the couple's second child.
World CBS News, com. July 31, 1618 Europe London. Over 100,000 children could face extreme starvation in Ethiopia's Tigray region. USAID Administrator Samantha Power is heading to the embattled region in hopes of easing what is now the world's worst hunger crisis in a decade.
The Independent. July 31, 1610 Europe London. CNN mocks Boris Johnson's epic battle with his umbrella. I should warn you, you may be shocked by this. CNN's John Berman calls the umbrella struggle a tortured process of self-discovery for the Prime Minister, who seems to be familiarizing himself with this advanced technology for the very first time.
Washington Post World. July 31, 1605 Europe London. As the Taliban closes in, Afghan forces scramble to defend prisons holding thousands of militants. If just a fraction of the detainees escape, Afghan security officials warn, it would hand the Taliban a significant advantage on the battlefield, where it is already making steady gains. RT World News. July 31, 1541 Europe London. Green meteor buzzes Turkey's Izmir, prompting rumors of rocket debris and satellite falling from the sky. Videos. A green-tinted meteor has been spotted near the Turkish city of Izmir, falling in the mountains with a loud bang. The occurrence sent shockwaves through social media, eliciting wild rumors.
ABC News International. July 31, 1537 Europe London. Evacuations by sea as high temps fuel wildfires in Sicily. Firefighters on the Italian island of Sicily battled dozens of blazes fueled by high temperatures, prompting the region's governor to request assistance from Rome.
Time. July 31, 1537 Europe London. Russians behind SolarWinds cyber attack hacked federal prosecutors, Justice Department. Washington. The Russian hackers behind the massive SolarWinds cyber-espionage campaign broke into the email accounts of some of the most prominent federal prosecutors' offices around the country last year, the Justice Department said.
Washington Post World. July 31, 1535 Europe London. Evacuations by sea as high temps fuel wildfires in Sicily. Firefighters on the Italian island of Sicily battled dozens of blazes fueled by high temperatures, prompting the region's governor to request assistance from Rome. New York Times World News. July 31, 1534 Europe London. Killer whale stranded on rugged shores of an Alaskan island. Rescuers and wildlife officials kept it cool and wet while waiting for a rising tide. The orca returned to sea about 6 hours after it was spotted on the shore. An orca stranded on the rocky shore near Prince of Wales Island in Alaska. New York Times World News. July 31, 1534 Europe London. Key Afghan city in danger of falling to the Taliban. Government reinforcements had yet to arrive in Lashkar Gah, the capital of Helmand province, where people were fleeing their homes and a hospital in the city had been bombed. Lashkar Gah, the besieged capital of Helmand province, in May this year. Washington Post World. July 31, 1524 Europe London. Indian, Chinese army officers meet to defuse border standoff. Top Indian and Chinese army commanders have met after a gap of 3 months to discuss the expeditious disengagement of thousands of forces in a bid to ease the 15-month border tensions and clashes.
ABC News International. July 31, 1524 Europe London. Indian, Chinese army officers meet to defuse border standoff. Top Indian and Chinese army commanders have met after a gap of 3 months to discuss the expeditious disengagement of thousands of forces in a bid to ease the 15-month border tensions and clashes.
CNN.com World. July 31, 1514 Europe London. Elaine Thompson-Herah defends Olympic 100 meters title in all-Jamaican podium. Elaine Thompson-Herah set a new Olympic record of 10.61 seconds as she won the women's 100-meter gold in Tokyo on Saturday.
RT World News. July 31, 1458 Europe London. Olympics capital Tokyo sets record for daily COVID-19 infections. While Olympic athletes have been breaking sporting records at the arenas in Tokyo, the Japanese capital has set a grim milestone of its own, reporting a record 4,058 coronavirus cases on Saturday.
Time. July 31, 1454 Europe London. Kevin Durant becomes top scorer in U.S. men's Olympic history. Saitama, Japan. Kevin Durant is now the leading men's scorer in U.S. Olympic basketball history. Durant made a three-pointer in the second quarter Saturday night against the Czech Republic to give him 337 points in his Olympic career, passing Carmelo Anthony.
World CBS News, com. July 31, 1443 Europe London. Japan's extreme heat takes toll on athletes at Tokyo Olympic Games. Every Olympics makes history, but this year could go down in the record books as the hottest summer games ever. Some experts say Tokyo's extreme conditions are a preview of what's in store for future summer games. World CBS News, com. July 31, 1441 Europe London. Geyser eruptions could be a hidden danger in Yellowstone Park. The pandemic has brought new attention to the types of unlikely but possibly catastrophic dangers that usually go ignored. One of them is hiding right under the surface of one of America's most picturesque spots.